Even people who are usually stable and resilient start to lose it under chronic stress. You wake up tense, you're more tired than usual, you can't focus. You need a support system. You're not broken, you're adapting to chaos. Hi everyone! So I wanted to share something that's been on my mind and maybe on yours too. Let's be honest, the whole system we live in feels like it's gone off rails. Not in a quirky or funny way, but in a deeply unsettling, existential kind of way. We are watching the planet shake, literally, with natural disasters, while wars rage on and political decisions feel more unhinged and disconnected than ever. It's like the fabric of normal life has been stretched too thin, and now it's fraying. We can all feel it, how these external events seep into our bodies, our sleep, and our thoughts. And maybe you're noticing it too. You wake up tense, you're more tired than usual, you can't focus, and you feel edgy, weirdly emotional, or weirdly numb. And if you're wondering what's going on with me, I've been there. Back in 2022, when the full-scale war started in Ukraine, I ended up coordinating a volunteer project, setting up online support groups for Ukrainian therapists. At that point, I was honestly more of a manager than a therapist, and that was my way of helping and staying grounded myself. I was working closely with an amazing group of therapists and facilitators from the US, Europe, and even Japan. And I remember sitting in one of our coordination calls. The facilitators were saying that during the first 6 months of the war, Ukrainians were scared, of course, but also full of energy. There was hope, there was movement, and people were coping. But now it was like crash had come. Everyone was exhausted, foggy, and thinking like, what is this? What's going on? You have to understand, what was happening in Ukraine was completely unprecedented. It was the first time in modern history that a full-scale war was unfolding on European soil in the age of the internet. And that meant, for the first time, mental health professionals had the chance to support people in real time, not just refugees post-trauma, but people living in war zones, still waking up to sirens and airstrikes, and trying to raise kids, keep working, make decisions. We weren't looking back at trauma, we were inside it, witnessing how it was shaping minds and bodies moment by moment. And no one had a guidebook for that, it was all new. That's when I came across a lecture by Robert Sapolsky. If you don't know him, he's a neurobiologist at Stanford and kind of a rock star when it comes to stress and human behavior. He'd actually given this talk specifically for Ukrainian therapists, and it totally clicked for me. Like, finally, someone was explaining what was happening on a physical, brain level. No fluff, just facts, and they were weirdly comforting. And just like in 2022, understanding the science of what's happening can help us face it with more clarity and less self-blame. Here is what Sapolsky explained, and it might explain a lot for you too. Chronic stress rewires the brain, not metaphorically, literally. The hippocampus, which helps with learning and memory, actually shrinks. So if you're forgetful or foggy, it's not just you. Your brain is relocating energy to survival. The amygdala, which handles fear, grows more active. So you feel more anxious, more reactive, sometimes for no obvious reason. Your dopamine system gets depleted, so joy, motivation, even curiosity can go flat, like you're living in gray. And your prefrontal cortex, where we regulate emotions, control impulses, and feel empathy, starts to go offline. So you might get snappy, or disconnected, or feel nothing at all. Even people who are usually stable and resilient start to lose it under chronic stress. And here is the thing, in 2025, a lot of what we were seeing back then inside the war is now showing up everywhere. It's like the global nervous system is fraying. We are collectively living in a state of low-grade emergency, climate anxiety, war, disinformation, AI disruption, economic instability, political chaos. all layered on top of already frayed systems. So again, if you are not okay, that makes sense. You are not broken, you're adapting to chaos. But, and this is the good news, there are things you can do to support your nervous system. Here is what helped me and what I now often suggest to clients. Let your emotions out, but do it in a way that's kind to yourself and others. Stress doesn't just go away, it builds up in the body, and if you don't move it out, it gets stuck. But releasing it doesn't mean spiraling or exploding. There are softer, safer ways. For me, sometimes that looks like crying while listening to childhood songs, or talking to my houseplant Pedro, explaining how I'm pissed at everything, or just scribbling weird poetry in my journal when I don't even know what I want to say. Find what works for you. Sing loudly, stomp your feet, shake out your body, write nonsense, scream into your car, whatever helps you move that energy without harming yourself or anyone around you. And don't tell yourself you have no reason to feel bad. If your body's in stress, that's the reason. It doesn't need more justification. Regain a sense of control, even in tiny ways. When everything feels uncertain, the brain starts to freak out. One way to calm it down is to bring back predictability. Pick something simple. Plan your day. Tidy one corner of your room, boil pasta, fold laundry. It might sound silly, but honestly, that little sense of "I did this" can be incredibly grounding. And sometimes that's all we need to get through the day. Look for meaning and remember what keeps you going. This isn't about being positive or pretending everything's fine. It's about staying connected to the deeper thread inside you. Ask yourself, what am I learning through this? What small thing can I be grateful for today? For me, it's often really small. A good coffee, someone texting me out of the blue. Gratitude shifts your nervous system. It's not spiritual fluff, it's neurobiology. And also, take a second to look inside and remember what's at your core, what gives you energy, what helps you run. For some people, it's a prayer. For others, it's music, movement, nature, helping someone. That's your inner compass. Use it. You need a support system. Don't try to do this alone. You're not wired to survive stress in isolation. If you don't have a circle yet, start with one person, a therapist, a friend you trust, someone you can be real with without feeling shame or pressure to be fine. If you don't have support, build it. Therapy is a beautiful place to start. So yeah, what's happening makes all of us feel heavy right now, and you are not broken for feeling it. You're human. If any of this resonates with you, take a deep breath and check in with yourself. You don't need to fix everything today. You just need to stay with yourself kindly.